This is the original Aston Martin V8 Vantage, and it was released in 1977, and it's the car which has spawned all the other Aston Martin V8 Vantages which followed, and I'll talk you through those cars later on in this video. But first, let's talk about this thing. So yeah, it was Britain's first ever supercar, 5.3 litre V8, 385 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds, and a top speed of 170 miles an hour, which is not bad for a car that weighs almost 2 tons. And look at it. It's a proper muscle car. This thing stands out, especially in this racing green paintwork. It looks fantastic. Inside, this car is just so lovely. It's got that old car smell. It's a combination of leather, wood, and probably most likely cigarettes by the amount of ashtrays that are dotted around this car. Some there for the people in the back. Now, yeah, oh, the leather in here is sumptuous. The seats are squidgy. I've got to pay particular care to this car because it's actually owned by Aston Martin's president, Mr. Andy Palmer. So, yeah, I'm not allowed to start eating croissants in it or anything. So, yeah, the car itself, lovely, lovely layout, sporty steering wheel. You've got a walnut dash, very clear dials. I mean, you've got more cons like electric windows. Look, we've got electric windows. We've got electric door mirrors. You've even got air conditioning, but then some of it is a bit more old school. For instance, there's a cassette radio down here. Look, the handbrake is down here by your left knee. Got a 5-speed gearbox, and it's dog-legged as well, which is really cool. But the best thing for me is the view out, the bulge in the bonnet. It's fantastic. In 2005, Aston Martin released this, the new Vantage, well, it was back then. So it started from £85,000 and it had a 4.3 litre naturally aspirated V8 with 380 horsepower and was capable of 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds. In terms of design, it still had that kind of muscular stance of the old V8 Vantage, but obviously a very modern interpretation of it. In fact, to me, this is one of the best sports car designs ever. It is beautiful. Inside this car was very luxurious for the time. So you've got technical grain leather, which feels expensive. You've got Alcantara up here on the headlining. There's metal here on the dash, and you've got alloy for the instruments. It's lovely. It's very nice and simply laid out. So you've got things like air conditioning, the sat nav in the car. What is interesting though is this. Look, so at the time, Aston Martin was owned by Ford, which also owned Volvo. So look, I've got a Volvo key fob here. And to start the car, I have a Ford key. So yeah, bits from the Ford's parts bin. Actually, that key is exactly the same that we have for our Ford Transit van in an Aston Martin. In 2016, Aston Martin released this race car for the road version of the Vantage. It's called the GT8, and yeah, it's got extra aero on it. It's been lightened. It's 4.7 litre V8, has 440 horsepower. And it's capable of 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Looks mean as well. Thing is, it's going to cost you quite a bit. £165,000, that's what they were. Inside, as you can see, there's lashings of Alcantara all about the place. These bucket seats are blooming lovely, very, very comfortable and supportive. Got a manual gearbox, and as you can see, the gear shifter looks like Terminator's thumb. It's huge and solid metal. But then there's weight saving throughout the car. For instance, look, we've got carbon fibre door panels, helps keep the weight down. We've got Alcantara on the steering wheel for added grip. You know, this really sets the scene. It's a nice thing inside. Finally then, we come to the all-new Aston Martin Vantage. It will cost you £120,000. I like the way the design does look similar to the previous generation car, but it's evolved, and it's evolved more than, say, a Porsche 911 would, but it hasn't gone too far. It's a great looking thing. I really like the design. And then the engine under the bonnet. So it's a 4 litre V8. But it's got twin turbochargers. The engine is actually made by AMG, so it kicks out 510 horsepower. 0 to 60 takes just 3.7 seconds, and top speed, 195 miles an hour. What's really interesting about the inside of this car is that it takes elements from the GT8 before it, so you've got Alcantara everywhere. The seats, they're like buckets. Also, it's launched with an automatic gearbox. You will be able to get a manual eventually, but not from the get-go. Now, you're probably thinking, Matt, come on, let's go for a drive. And yeah, I'd love to, but the review of this car is actually under embargo. Now, if you subscribe to this channel, on April the 11th, I'll upload the full review of this car, and you'll see me time it from 0 to 60, do a standing quarter in it, rag it about on track, and do some other fun things as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on by hitting the bell icon. Until then, though, you're just going to have to wait. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it and click on our logo to subscribe to our channel. Now, you probably noticed one Aston Martin Vantage missing from the lineup. It was the car which was built from 1993 to 2000, the crazy 550 horsepower twin supercharged V8. It was a beast, but unfortunately we didn't have one available to film with.